بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، وأصلي وأسلم على نبينا محمد وعلى أهله وأصحابه أجمعين. Divorce Causes and Treatments, delivered by His Eminence Al-Sheikh Faisal ibn Jamil Al-Ghazawi, 4 Rabi al-Awwal 1441 Hijriya, 1 November 2019. It is well known that marriage in Islam is a strong tie that binds a man and woman together. It is a bond that brings peace and happiness to the soul. Allah the Most High said, وَمِنْ آيَاتِهِ أَنْ خَلَقَ لَكُم مِنْ أَنفُسِكُمْ أَزْوَاجًا لِتَسْكُنُوا إِلَيْهَا. Also among His signs is that He created for you a spouses from your own kind, so that your soul may find tranquility with them. In addition, one of the supplications that Allah the Most Majestic mentioned is, رَبَّنَا هَبْ لَنَا مِنْ أَزْوَاجِنَا وَذُرِّيَّتِنَا قُرَّةَ أَعْيُنٍ وَاجْعَلْنَا لِلْمُتَّقِينَ إِمَامًا. Our Lord, grant us from our wives and children a source of comfort to our eyes, and make us leaders for the people of Taqwa. Out of Allah's infinite wisdom, He prescribed the directives that gave great importance to preserving the togetherness of families, encourage upholding the bond of marriage, and encourage husbands to live with their wives in an acceptable manner. Even if the husband may dislike something about the wives for some mundane reason, Allah the Most High said, وَأَشْرُهُنَّ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ فإن كرهتموهن فعسى أن تكرهوا شيئا ويجعل له فيه خيرا كثيرا. أي نعم. Ensure that your life with your wives is one of kindness. Love and fulfillment of their rights. If you like something about them for any mundane reason, you must bear that patiently, because it may be well that you dislike something when in fact Allah brings about much goodness in it. وَأَخَذْنَا مِنْكُمْ مِيثَاقًا غَلِيظًا. And they, the woman, had taken from you, the men, a solemn promise. The fact that a marriage was characterized by this way dictates that it be a bond of continuity, tranquility, and stability. Therefore, it is necessary for both spouses to avert everything that poses a threat to those objectives. They must overlook whatever marital difference may arise and possibly ruin the strong bond that is to exist between them. Servant of Allah, the default is that a wife requesting separation requesting separation or for marriage to be dissolved is impermissible. Such a request must only be resorted to when remaining in her marriage, when her marriage becomes impossible after exhausting all of the methods for conflict resolution prescribed by Islam. Shaykh al-Islam, may Allah have mercy on him, commanded that the default ruling which implies to divorce the default rulings which applies to divorce is provision, and it's not haram to divorce, it is allowed. So it's just jihad of Shaykh Ibn Taymiyyah saying it is prohibited. It is only permitted in the circumstance that requires it. There is an authentic hadith in which Jabir narrated that the Prophet ﷺ said, Iblis set his throne over water and then sends forth his troops. The ones among them who hold high status with him are the ones who cause the worst strife. One of them comes and says, I did such and such, but Iblis tells him, you did not accomplish anything. Then another comes and says, I did not leave the person I was assigned to until I managed to separate him from his wife. And Iblis draws that one near himself and says to him, you have excelled in your task. Furthermore, in the context of sensuality, censuring sorcery and magic and black magic, Allah the Most High said, فَيَتَعَلَّمُونَ مِنْهُمَا مَا يُفَرِّقُونَ بِهِ بَيْنَ الْمَرِّ وَزَوْجِهِ. People who refuse to take heed of the warning went ahead and learned magic from the two angels sent as a test, and one type of it could place such hatred between spouses that they will eventually separate. There is also a hadith in the Sunan collections in which the Prophet ﷺ said, women who ask for divorce and seek separation without any valid reason commit nifaq. they disobey Allah inwardly, although they may outwardly display obedience to Him. Consequently, divorcing a wife is only permitted up to a maximum of 3 times. After that, it is impermissible for a husband to remarry the divorced wife, unless he was subsequently married to a different husband. Furthermore, since divorce is only permitted in a situation of necessity, a single divorce under those conditions suffices, and the default rulings of prohibition applies to anything more than that. Servants of Allah, the foregoing is further emphasized by text of the Sunnah that warn against contravening Islam's directives in ways that may lead to divorce. Abu Hurairah, may Allah please narrated that the Prophet ﷺ said, "A person is not one of us if he turns a wife against her husband, or a slave against his master." This was collected by Abu Dawood. The Oban, may Allah please with him, stated that the Allah's Messenger ﷺ said, "Anyone who requests a divorce from a husband for a reason other than experiencing serious illegitimate harm will be barred from even smelling the fragrance of Jannah." This was collected by Abu Dawood, At-Tirmidhi, and Ibn Majah. Abu Hurairah, may Allah please with him, narrated the Prophet ﷺ said, "It is impermissible for a woman to stipulate that a man divorce a wife he is already married to and marry her instead of so that as a result she can overturn what the wife had and take it for herself. Rather, she is only entitled to what has been decreed for her." This was collected by Bukhari and Muslim. My dear brothers, with that being said, we must realize that the divorce today in various Muslim societies has gone beyond its proper understanding and purpose according to Islam. Divorce in Islam is spread as a solution for exceedingly difficult problems that arise between spouses, and as a last reason for treating them. However, we find that some people's usage of divorce has now become a problem in and of itself. It has become like a toy in the hands of those who manipulate others aimlessly, and a word easily uttered by the reckless who do not see any point to married life and not give it any significance. Such individuals are people who get married one day and one divorce the next, completely belittling the gravity of the bond that comes with the responsibility prescribed by our Lord. Dear Muslims, it's a very unfortunate to see instead of the divorce has greatly increased in the first few years and thus become a common phenomenon. Divorce cases have become widespread, and the frequency of cases in which the couple seeks separation has unmistakably grown. The percentage of those who seek divorce or annulment of marriage has reached alarming proportion, and the heralds significant dangers for Muslim communities. Upon examination, we find that there is a vast array of domestic problems that may upset life between spouses and ultimately lead to divorce. Among the causes is the spouse not making the appropriate choice when getting married. One of them might embark upon marriage without knowing anything about their partner's conduct or religious practice, and then be unpleasantly surprised after living with them. Other causes include falling short in adherence to Islam, being neglected in fulfilling Allah's right, especially obligatory prayers, not using recitation of the Quran, and preserved world subjects to protect oneself, and committing sins and finding that acceptable. All of this leads to ill and dispute between spouse, and divorce can result. It is also no secret that there are reports of men who consume stimulants such as alcohol or are addicted to drugs and then physically injure their wives, verbally abuse them, kick them out of their home, and also declare them to be divorced. Another marital problem that arises in failing to fulfill certain responsibilities. For instance, a husband may fail to take care of running the home and provide things that are needed, and instead occupy himself with social gatherings, spend night out with friends, travel often without need, and then end up neglecting the rights of those who are under his care. Likewise, a wife may not take care of her home and instead occupy herself with her phone and social media for most of her time, and then end up neglecting the rights of her husband and family. We should also point out here some people overdo using social media because addicted to it and repeatedly visit harmful websites on the internet. This then lead to major ill which affect the individual's belief, morals, and conduct. These include instances where a man may be attracted to a woman other than his wife, let his heart become attached to her, and then engage in an illicit relationship with her. Consequently, the man end up scorning his wife, avoiding her, and then eventually divorcing her. Likewise, there are instances where wives end up betraying their husbands by engaging in private conversation over social media and the internet with the unrelated men, and it only gets worse if those matters become exposed. We seek to Allah from such things. Another problem that exists is the lack of stability in life between spouses, and also lacking proper understanding of what marital life is supposed to be. In such a scenario, the spouses fail to fulfill each other's right, and they lose harmony between themselves. Instead, their life becomes permeated by an atmosphere of enmity, argumentation, and conflict. Further, compounding the situation is when either of the spouses starts to treat matters of divorce lightly. The husband may start to threaten his wife with divorce, wielding that as a weapon against her, and the wife may repeatedly start asking for divorce, and perhaps even provoke her husband until he eventually divorces her. Other similar contravention of Islam's teaching occur as well. A further problem that may lead to divorce is for unbefitting and unwise things to be done as it relates to marital life. This includes one spouse thinking ill of other, avoiding having doubts about them, and going to excess in matters of jealousy. It also includes a spouse insulting the other about their age or regarding something about their body. It includes a husband preventing his wife from keeping ties with her parents or visiting them, when he has no justifiable reason in Islam to do so. It further includes a husband being miserly by not providing the financial support he is obliged to give his wife, such as shelter, food, drink, clothing, and medicine. Things beyond those are non-essentials, and is not obliged to provide them to us so long as he is providing all of the foregoing obligatory forms of support. In addition, there are wives who exhort their husbands with requests that are beyond the husband's ability to provide, and there are also wives who look down upon their husbands because the wives may be better educated, have better jobs, or be from families of higher social status. Yet another problem is psychological and behavioral issues from which some spouses suffer, and which lead to constant conflict. They may lead a husband to dislike his wife and avoid her, and he may be unwilling to seek treatment that could enable him to remain in a relationship of love, affection, and harmony with his wife. A related issue is that some people's nature may be one of anger, short-sightedness, or not handling things well when it comes to situations that require wisdom. There are many times when disputes arise between spouses over trifling things, like husband requesting something from his wife, but she forgets or delays, or like a wife asking her husband to purchase something, and he ends up occupied with something else or less as well. These and other similar matters are things that a person should not allow to incite him or make him lose his composure, such that he then acts irrationally and aggravate disputes, which lead to the blameworthy consequences. A further problem is a man not giving consideration to a woman's nature, whether physically or intellectually, or the various changing circumstances a woman may experience. For instance, after giving birth, a woman's appearance and body may change somewhat. However, there are husbands who mock their wives due to that, and even crush their emotion to the point that the wives will prefer to be divorced rather than remain with the husband who treat them in such an ill manner. Another problem is when the family of either the husband or wife interferes with private matters between the spouse, or perhaps even pits one of them against the other, which ends up aggravating existing differences they may have and then result in a divorce. A further problem is watching programs and movies that portray marital life as a romantic utopia without any sort of problems, or portray it as a life of endless problems, stress, and anguish which demand divorce right away. Both of these extremes are unrealistic and incorrect. Yet another problem which may be somewhat acceptable is for women to continue taking bad control pills, they say that doing so adversely affect their health. Doctors known for their integrity have mentioned that women can be affected by that in their mood and also cause them to experience more fatigue than normal. This can lead to marital conflicts and increased dispute, possibly resulting in divorce. Another problem is that some wives aspire to have a very high standard of living and remain discontent with what they have. They look at those who have more and perhaps even become influenced by irresponsible women who flaunt and brag about what they own. This may cause some wives to no longer give a consideration to the privacy of their homes and marital lives. They may spread pictures of their furnishing, attire, and food by way of Snapchat or other platforms, and as a result, initiate problems with their husbands. In some cases, this can ruin homes and contribute to family problems that may end in divorce. Servant of Allah, the aforementioned are some of the domestic problems that may lead to divorce. The point of mentioning them is to learn from the errors of others, learn necessary lessons, and avoid falling into the same mistakes. A discussing individual takes heed of what happens to others, and he learns lessons from their experience that benefit him in his life later on. It is normal for difference to occur between spouses in domestic matter and day-to-day life. This is a reality that is constant with the entire nature of life in this world, which is not contrarily present even within the pure household of the Prophet ﷺ. There were certain issues that caused fatigue, and there were instances of jealousy that usually occur between women. It also must not imagine that having a happy life together means a life that always remains problem-free. Rather, it means being able to solve problems, limit the occurrence of problems, and not allow problems to affect the relationship. Servant of Allah, contemporary social realities have produced numerous reasons because of which people may avoid a marriage. Shaitan leads some young women to avoid and refuse marriage because they do not want to assume responsibilities, or because they do not want a husband controlling their professional lives, restricting their independence by preventing them from going out without approval, or preventing them from working in the jobs they have. This type of thinking comes about due to the correct actions of certain husbands. They are violating Islam right in terms of how they deal with their wives, and their outright contravention of their Lord's directives. In other contrast to their actions, the guidance prescribed by Islam, they said that a husband do what is required to set things for the right of his wife. The planning and care involved in that are a responsibility the husband is to fulfill, and they serve as a privilege granted to woman. It is a guardianship that puts woman under the care of someone who treats her well, looks out for her best interest, defends her, and does all that is necessary to bring about her happiness and comfort. Perhaps this understanding will rectify the misconception some women have in thinking that the guardianship in Islam is equivalent to subjection of woman and an annulment of their identities. Another reason due to which some young women may avoid marriage is the fear that they will end up like the other women who are directed after failed marriage and looked down upon because of that. This type of thinking is incorrect. There are many young women who get married, live in stability, are happy with their husband, enjoy their lives, and by Allah's grace have never gone through any set of separation, or on the contrary, they have only led marital lives of affection and misery. Servants of Allah, divorce has a very negative effect upon women. After divorce, many women feel sad and desperate. However, a strange phenomenon has found its way into some people's life, and it is time that opposes the innate disposition that humans are created with. There are instances where certain women hold a party on the occasion of their divorce, and they invite their families, relatives, and friends. This is done in the expression of their husbands being divorced by who they were previously married to. Dear Muslims, when individuals who strive for reform and reconciliation express disapproval about the multiple divorce cases, that will not be understood to mean that they are trying to limit the occurrence of divorce, or that they claim that the society will reach a perfection by having every marriage be successful. That is not to be understood at all. Even the most virtuous generation of Islam did not have such things. What is required is for us to recognize that the problem that exists, the greatest threat to marital life, is written in the matter of divorce, lightly, and not giving any mind to the very negative consequences it has. Divorce has led to the collapse of many homes, splitting of many families, severing signs of kinship, and incurring sins. It's necessary for us to know the reason behind the problem's existence and to treat the problem properly. Communities at the organization and individual levels are to contribute to that treatment in their respective capacities. Individuals working for reform are to raise people's awareness about the extent to which these dangerous matters is belittled, and then work towards effective treatment. Dear Muslim, one of the practical solutions for the phenomenon of rising divorce is to offer educational and training seminars for those who will be embarking upon marriage. Preemptive prevention is better than subsequent treatment. Addressing problems before they arise by way of educating potential spouses reportedly reduces an occurrence of divorce. When valuable information, sincere advice, soundly grounded, consistent, and pertinent education are offered, they bring about major benefit for people in their lives ahead after they get married. This contributes to forming families that are built upon solid foundation, which guarantees successful marriage by Allah's permission. And the treatment is striving to reconcile between spouses when differences occur. Doing that is in fact a major means of obeying and drawing nearer to Allah. Drawing near to Allah, the most exalted. He said, لا خير في كثير من نجواهم إلا من أمر بصدقات ومعروف وإصلاح بين الناس ومن يفعل ذلك ابتغاء مرضات الله فسوف نؤتيه أجرا عظيما. There's no good in much of what individuals discuss privately, unless it involves giving charity, commanding what is right, or reconciling between people. If someone does those hoping to please Allah, we will grant him a magnificent reward. In addition, the Prophet ﷺ asked the companions, "Should I not inform you about something even more virtuous than the rank of fasting, prayer, and charity?" They replied, "Oh, of course," he said, "reconciling between people. As for making progress between people, that shaves things away. It does not shave away hairs. Rather, it shaves away a person's religious practice." This was circulated by Ahmad at-Tirmidhi and Abu Dawud. This hadith contains encouragement to rectify relationships, and it shows that initiating problems between people damages both mundane and religious matters. Something which must be emphasized is that correct intervention when it comes to resolving disputes, especially between spouses, is something encouraged, and the absence of sincere and wise individuals who work for reconciliation is a factor that contributes to spouses separating.